What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, checking out the Rite in the Rain top-bound notebook cover, and this is for the 3" by 5" notebooks. They do have one for their 4" by 6" notebooks, but I tend to prefer the smaller, more pocketable size, and this pouch will still fit in a back pocket, and so went with this one. But if you prefer a bigger one, I don't know that that's really going to be pocketable, but if you're just throwing in a bag or something like that anyway, might be a good option. Now, Rite in the Rain is a little bit of an interesting company for me because I don't think I've ever bought from them directly. I have a decent amount of Rite in the Rain products, but I've gotten them in bundles. I've gotten them from other retailers, Amazon, stuff like that, and never actually browsed their site. But recently they dropped a new notebook with high-vis green covers. Wanted to grab a handful of them, so I think I bought either 3 or 5 of them, something like that. But wanted to grab a handful of them and figured I'd browse the sites, picked up some other stuff, including some of the stuff you'll see in this video, but also this pouch was available as an add-on. And so these are $24, which seems pretty in line with what I paid for a lot of my other notebook covers. I paid more than that, I paid a little bit less than that, but pretty in line with that. It's Cordura fabric on the outside, YKK zipper, and made in the USA, so that definitely seems like a reasonable price point for me. And even though it's 3" by 5", the external dimensions are actually a little bit larger than that. It's about 4.25 inches wide by 6 inches tall, and unloaded you're looking at 0.625 inches thick, but you can see end up being a little bit thicker than that once I get everything loaded into here. But really cool option if you just want to carry a few different accessories with your notebook that have a lot of external pockets and then one internal pocket as well. Now, there is a limited edition version of it. So this one's available in 3 colors. One of those colors, like tan or coyote brown, whatever you want to call it, has a limited edition with different internal pockets and some moly webbing on the back. Had I noticed that, probably at the time, I may have picked it up, but just was drawn to this colorway, so went with this one, but may check that one out in the future. Now, this is made for those Rite in the Rain top spiral bound notebooks, and it will fit other company notebooks, even a little bit bigger, so up to 3.25 by 5.25 inches. It's not going to work with like a Field Notes or Log and Jotter, which are 3.5 by 5.5. So those ones are a little bit too big for it, but you can use other brands here. So on the outside, you'll see there's 4 pockets on the front, nothing on the back. And again, that Cordura material that I think is treated to be water resistant. Water beads off here pretty nicely. It's not going to be completely waterproof. You can see the zippers are going to let a little bit of water in here, and that's fine for what you're going to be using it for. Probably going to be okay there. Now, most of these pockets aren't super thick, so they're made for pen, pencil type objects. And you'll see I have a couple from Rite in the Rain in here. Starting on the left, we have the number 0093. This is just a standard Rite in the Rain pen in OD green. Decent little pen, fits well in there. And right next to that, I have their mechanical pencil. Now this is a 1.3mm lead, so it's a little bit thicker, as you can see. So hopefully it doesn't break quite as easily as normal mechanical pencils. Now, I'm probably not going to keep this in here. I'm trying to find somewhat shorter mechanical pencil. Now, unfortunately, all of the mechanical pencils I have, even like the standard Bic brand, and I have some Everyman mechanical pencils, they're all a little bit too long. So loaded in here, you can see they stick out about 1 inch. And so not the hugest deal because it's in my back pocket and I don't sit on it, but I just don't love the way it looks and imagine it's going to catch eventually, and so want to find a mechanical pencil that will fit a little bit better in there. Now, the way I have been using it instead is putting a small flashlight in there, so I'll put this little Maglite solitaire and just not shove it all the way down. That fits in there, but not necessarily ideal or what I'm looking for. Next to that, I have the Nice Guy Machine Company Mr. Nice Bar, and so really slim pry bar. And actually the reason I threw this in here is I thought it would make a decent straight edge. I just got this at Blade Show, but has a nice straight edge here, so if you're trying to draw lines or something like that, you can definitely do that. Now, same issue with that mechanical pencil. With a 6" ruler, you're going to end up sticking out a little bit. And so I'm trying to find like maybe a 4" ruler that would fit in here, 4.5, 5 inches that will fit in here. But this is sticking out a decent bit because, again, that seam cuts out about 1/2 inch of it. The ruler is a little bit longer, and it's kind of hard to find a short ruler that's this slim, but hopefully I'll be able to find something that I can put in one of these pockets eventually. Now, next to that, I have this County Com little bit tool. It has 4 bits in it, or 2 bits that are double-sided, 1 on each side, and so you can use these. They're Other companies make these. I have one from Stanley as well. They're relatively cheap and fits in there nicely. Now, not necessarily trying to build this out as a toolkit, but you never know when you need something like this. And it's nice if you're, opening something up, seeing what size battery it is, you can do that and then add it right to the list on the notebook inside. And I'm someone who really likes to keep physical notes. There's something cathartic about it, and just enjoy notebooks. Now, I do keep notes on my phone and laptop and stuff like that, but if you're in like a client meeting or something like that, you don't want to be sitting on your phone or on your computer making notes. It seems like you're not paying attention. Maybe they're assuming you're answering emails or doing something else. And so having notebooks is a really nice thing in those type of environments. And then again, just like lists and random things that I want to remember, it's easier for me if I write it down than if I put it in a random notes in my notes app on my phone. So you can see this is the 3" by 5" top bound spiral Rite in the Rain. This is the high vis one that I ordered with the order, and so this was what I was going to order on there. And they did this cover in both the 3 by 5 as well as the 4 by 6, so same thing with the notebook. And this just slides in there. You use that back cover to just slide it in place, easily removable, easy to put in and out of there. Once it's out, you can see that Rite in the Rain tag, all weather writing, Tacoma, Washington, USA, and these are made in the USA by Tactical Tailor, which is a name I haven't heard in a while, actually. I remember them being pretty big a few years back. I haven't heard anything from them in a while, so definitely need to go check them out. And that back pocket also doubles as a nice place to store receipts, pictures, notes, paper that you've torn out, business cards. I have some stickers in there right now, but you can put some business cards in there or whatever you want, just kind of loosely floating around. It tends to stay in there pretty well, especially with the notebook in there. And then if you flip it around to the top, you have this one kind of large pocket, and there's no sort of organization or anything like that. It's just one large pocket, and you could put another notebook over there if you really wanted to. But I have some tools in there. I put stuff with pocket clips because what I've found is, at least for smaller items, they just kind of fall out when I open the pack. And so I prefer to have a pocket clip holding everything in place. But on that limited edition, they have a different organization here, including what looks to be like an elastic netted pocket over here. So you might be able to keep more of those free floating objects, something like a big chunky eraser or something like that if you want to. But in there I have this lever gear charging kit. Just always like having this. It has a SIM card ejector as well as charging for both Apple and Android devices, and so always good to have. Maybe that's a reason you're writing in a notebook. You prefer to write in your phone or your computer, but it's dead. Well, I guess this wouldn't charge your computer, your phone, but it's dead, and so having that in there is kind of a nice thing. Not 100% set on keeping that in there full time. I may end up removing it and replacing it with something that works a little bit better. But right next to that, I just have the James brand. This was the Ellis maybe, and I just threw this in there because I wanted a pair of scissors. Where are the scissors on this? Right here. Wanted a pair of scissors in there, and their scissors work really well. And so went with this over a Victorinox just because of that pocket clip. Again, most of the Victorinoxes do not have pocket clips. In fact, I think none of them have pocket clips unless you add them yourself. And so wanted to throw that in there. But again, once that's out of there, you can see you can just swap this notebook in there. So if you prefer to have two different notebooks, for one used for personal, one used for work, or whatever the case may be, you can definitely do that. But here you can see it completely loaded out. Just a super simple pouch, but really effective, carries a decent amount of gear, carries all of your like writing instruments that need to go with that pad of paper that you're carrying. And so really like this, and haven't done a notebook cover video in a while. The last one still gets views, and some of those are a little bit out of date. And so thought I'd do an update to that with this option. Most of my ones in the other video were for 3.5 by 5.5" notebooks, not a 3 by 5" notebook. And so really kind of a nice alternative there. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. If there's other gear from Rite in the Rain that I should check out. They actually had a decent amount, all obviously geared around their notebooks and pens, but a decent amount of other types of gear. So definitely open to checking out more of those in the future. But thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button. And as always, hope you have a great one. Take care.